The year was 1990, and I was out on the farm, and I was going to put out my garden. And I got my tiller, and I go out in the field, and I tilled me up a great big old patch, and got it all fertilized good, and made my rows, and laid in my markers, and went to laying in my seed. And I got a whole bunch of stuff planted, and I'd gone to local place and got some plants and stuff that I wanted to put out, and I got them all set up, and everything was looking really good. And I got to looking, what all I had put out there, and I didn't have any cabbage. And I said, man, I need some cabbage sets to put out here. And my husband worked about 60 miles or so away from the house, and I knew that he passed some nice garden centers on his way home. And so I told him, I said, hey, tomorrow on your way home from work, you think you could stop at one of them garden centers and pick me up some cabbage plants for the garden? And he says, well, I guess I could do that. He says, how many you need? And I said, well, why don't you get me four pack of them? And he says, okay, I'll do that. Well, the day goes by, and he comes home that day from work, and he's giving me a dirty look on his way in the door. And I thought, well, what in the heck did I do to deserve this? I said, what's wrong? And he says, your cabbage plants are in the car. And I thought, what on earth is he so mad about? So I finished up what I was doing there in the house, and I had a young man there living with us that I was in charge of, foster child. And I said, well, you come with me. I said, it won't take us long. We'll dash these plants on in the garden real quick and get everything watered in good before dark. So out we went, and we get out to the car. I thought, well, Lord have mercy, what is this? And you never seen so many cabbage plants in all your life. The whole back seat, the whole back end of the car is full of cabbage plants. Now, all I wanted was a 4-pack. It's a pack that has 4 plants in it. Because I thought, if I raise 4 nice big cabbage plants up, that'd be 4 good sized cabbage heads. I can make plenty of slaw and stuff out of that for us. I mean, I wasn't planning on trying to feed the entire world. So I thought, well, okay, I guess he thinks we need all. I don't know what this is all about. But we got the cart and we hauled it all out there. And I went to putting holes in, and I had the boy plant and showed him how to plant them. I said, you come right in behind me. We'll get all these planted. And I dig holes, and he's laying out the plants beside the holes, as I'm going down through there. And then he'd go back and he'd plant a few, and I'm digging more holes. I kept going. He kept laying out more plants. I thought, well, Lord have mercy, how in the heck many of these plants do we have? And I should have counted them back at the car is what I should have done. But hey, hindsight's always 20/20. So I keep digging. And by the time it's all said and done, we had 40 cabbage plants in the ground. I mean, I even had to till up more space and everything to put these cabbage plants in. We get them all planted, and I counted 40 cabbage plants. What he had done is he told them 4 packs, and what they figured out somehow or another was that he wanted 40 plants. And so they just went out, put them in the car, and I forget how much it cost, but I mean, for something that should have only cost a few dollars, he had some astronomical bill for all these cabbage plants. And I thought, well, okay, we've got them in the ground now. So what are we going to do with all this cabbage? Well, the young man that was living with us, he turns to me and he says, I don't like cabbage. I said, I bet you do before this year's over if all that cabbage hits. Well, the months came and went until the end of the season. And I mean, they made great big heads of cabbage, bigger than bowling balls. And we went out there, we went cutting cabbage heads, and we'd pile them in the little wagon and haul them back up the house. And I went to looking up recipes for cabbage, and we had cabbage every way there was to make cabbage. We had boiled cabbage, we had cabbage soup, we had fried cabbage, we had slaw. I made up big old crocks of sauerkraut. I mean, we had cabbage rolls. There wasn't any way in the world that cabbage couldn't be made up, and I found a way to make it. And any kind of meat I could pair it with, anything, whatever. And we ate cabbage till it came out our ears. I gave cabbage away. I took cabbage to the market, and some days I could sell a little bit of it, and some I couldn't, and whatever I couldn't sell, I had to bring home, put it up some way. So we're canning cabbage, we're freezing cabbage. We had cabbage everywhere. Yeah, and then people told me, but when it was all said and done, they said, "Well, why didn't you just throw it out?" Well, I've never been one to let anything go to waste. I mean, if you're gonna grow it, you might as well eat it or find somebody that can use it. And we sure had the cabbage that year. That was something else. I'll never do that again. That was way too much. Yeah, I've learned now to count the plants carefully. Well, first off, I don't send nobody else to do my shopping for me, but I can't count everything carefully before I purchase it, and make sure I got room to get it in the ground before I go to planting, and have some kind of plan of where I'm either going to sell it or use it, or how I'm going to deal with it when it grows. But Lord have mercy, 40 heads of cabbage. You never seen so much cabbage in your life. By the end of that summer, that boy learned how to like cabbage real quick.